mal loslegen.
Alex, thank you very much for joining us at the Eastern Partnership Conference. Thank you for your keynote. I have 5 questions for you. What are your thoughts on eDemocracy and open government in a nutshell?
Well, I think by now just about every modern liberal democratic process is affected by the E. So you have the internet and online communication penetrating the world of democracies just about everywhere, and there, of course, the idea of open access to information, which is quintessential for a democracy to work well, is of course paramount.
What does open mean to you?
Well, open means, of course, having access to data that you will somehow process as a voter or as a citizen in general. And that is, of course, a very important part of your opinion-making process. And so being able to access data that previously was much more difficult to access, I think is a great advantage.
Could you name a good practice in eDemocracy or open government?
So I think by now we have quite a list of practices that were very successful here, maybe not so successful elsewhere. This list starts maybe with electronic voting, pilots that were successful in certain cases, not so successful in others. One of the things that I am particularly interested in is in this public opinion formation process during electoral campaigns, where we have, for example, these voting advice applications, these information aggregators that have proven, and studies show that, to be quite effective when it comes to fostering participation and when it comes to making a choice better founded by citizens.
Could you name a bad practice in eDemocracy and open government?
Well, those practices that resulted in a failure, and there also we have bit of a list of attempts that somehow did not go through. We can think about in the field of internet voting, of electronic voting more generally, several failures where certain states or collectivities try to introduce new forms of participation that just did not take into account the problems of the previous system in place, and where reforms of the electoral process without the E would have been actually more important to tackle before you leapfrog into electronic democracy.
And what will we be discussing in 2028, so in 10 years' time?
Well, I think that in 10 years' time we will be heavily engaged in a debate that has started quite some time ago and that has intensified since, and that has to do with the development of algorithms of artificial intelligence that clearly affect the way democracy works.
Alex, thank you very much for answering my questions.
Thank you, Noella.
We okay? We good? Do everything again? I mean, there is no pressure.
No, we don't do it again.